Hello again out there, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another session of Meet the Candidates focused on our general election here in Shelby County. I'm Clint Cummins, CEO of the Memphis Medical Society. I'm joined today by Dr. George Woodbury, our legislative chairman and a local dermatologist. Hey, Dr. Woodbury, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
And our guest today is our incumbent Republican from District 83, Mr. Mark White. Mark, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Clint. Dr. Woodbury, appreciate it.
Yeah, we've got a few questions for you. We're going to cut straight to it and try to get you out of here pretty soon. Mark, over the summer, Governor Lee issued Executive Order 15. One of the provisions in that order included the ability for nurse practitioners to practice with autonomy. What's your position on the expansion of scope of practice for nurse practitioners and physician assistants?
Right. Well, as you know, I've been up there 11 years, and as Dr. Woodbury knows, we've had many conversations. I have come down on the side of the same really position that TMA has had. There, of course, there's a big push for our NPs to want to have the autonomy that they're requested. I'm a big believer in education, and that the number of years that the medical doctors spend extra going through that is very critical. My sister is a nurse practitioner, by the way, and down in South Mississippi. And I asked her that question because she's 73 and been practicing a long time. And I asked her about it, and she actually, her comment was, we both worked together in the country of Panama, and she went down to Ecuador a couple years ago and got a degree in tropical diseases because she experiences a lot of those in Panama. And she said, after working with that, she said, I really realized that those additional years that you go through in education are critical, that it helps you so much. I said, well, would you feel comfortable practicing on your own? She said, well, I do a lot of things, but not to have sole source autonomy and whatnot. So that was her opinion. And so I've always sided with that. Now, having said that, I know this bill is before us every year, and it's going to be up there again. And I understand that TMA has trying to find a compromise, which is what I would like. If we're going to keep doing this, I don't want legislators personally. My background is education. It's not in the medical field. We have lawyers. We have people all the spectrum. Have small business owners. Some people are owners of a pest control company, and teachers and judges. So we're all of that. And for have us to determine a critical issue like this for the medical field, I think we'd be better off to listen and try to come up with a compromise if that's possible with the medical doctors. But those additional years of education. Now, what the governor did because of COVID, especially, temporary, may be okay, but I don't think it should be long term until we really try to figure out the best possible way forward.
All right. Thank you. We're going to keep rolling with the questions. So a lot of difficult decisions being made throughout the pandemic that force, business owners, parents, policymakers, whoever you are, to really have to balance their personal, physical health and the health of their community with economic health, that kind of getting back to business dynamic. Can you just talk about your thought process when you're faced with those types of decisions and how you balance one versus the other?
Yeah. Isn't that the tough thing right now that we're all going under? Now, my focus is chair of house education, is trying to figure out get children back in schools. I kind of look like this, like me. I don't get on one side or the other at first. I try to listen and find a solution, whether that be a compromise or let's talk this out. We're all smart enough. I kind of compare what's going on right now as to in economics, the Laffer curve. Familiar with the Art Laffer under Ronald Reagan? His belief is that as you raise taxes either on business or on the public to bring in more money for your state or the government, there comes a point in time where you can hit a certain apex and decreased revenue comes into your state. And so then it starts going back down. So I kind of compare that to where we are right now in this. I know we got to pay attention to what the health community says. And there's a big debate now between like the Shelby County Department of Health and our municipalities or rural areas and schools and everything. So even though I believe we got to pay attention to the health and the science, like the Laffer curve, there comes a point in time when we're also doing more damage to our economy, which is also very serious. You people who have life, work, and savings invested in their small business, they've got to open back up. We got to, and they're trying to do it safely with the distancing that comes out for the guidelines. So there again, I'm always looking for solutions. I don't think it can be all on one side or the other. But I think working together and then listen to each other. As education person, I talk to a lot of superintendents. Their biggest challenge is not so much the virus right now. It's being able to, and that is an issue, of course, but it's being able to keep the schools open because of the different directives they hear from different bureaucracies, whether that be CDC, health department, things like, 3 to 6 foot rule one day, then it's 6 foot rule. And they're trying to do everything to keep the kids in the classroom. So we've got to have a healthy balance, and that's tough to get right now.
All right, kind of along the same lines, the state's dealing with some revenue shortfalls. A lot of assumptions out there that inevitably we're going to have to deal with budget cuts. Can you talk about how you prioritize budget cuts, and would you cut healthcare spending?
Yeah, fortunately, right now, of course, we'll see what the next year brings in 2021. Tennessee revenues are not down. You probably know that. I was talking to our state F&A person the other day and our treasurer, and we're actually 4% ahead of this time last year. Now, once our F&A tax, our franchise and excise taxes come in or due, that may flip on us a little bit. But revenues are up, even though we've lost so much money in our hospitality, restaurants, tourism, sales and RVs and boats and camping and lawn care have just gone out the roof. So they've balanced each other out like that. So hopefully that will hold where we won't have to make as hard the choices we thought we would back in March. That would be a good thing. But no, and I would like to see us maintain healthcare. We do have the COVID money, but that eventually run out. But I would like to maintain our healthcare, and of course, our education is very important. Our teachers and children are challenged greatly right now in the education field, and I don't think it's time to pull money back out of our public schools or teachers in our systems. But healthcare is critical. Actually, I haven't talked to you all about this, but one thing I'm working on right now is I would like to see us how to expand the Medicaid or to our working uninsured. Draw down more federal dollars possibly for that. I think we can figure out a way to do that and not make it political, which it has been in the past. I understand that we don't want to put the state of Tennessee in a position where we don't know what the federal government's going to do, and then we got to come up with hundreds of millions. I get that. But I think we're smart enough to all sit down and figure that out and draw those dollars down into our state that we're losing every day.
All right. Mark, that's most of our questions. We wanted to leave some time here at the end and allow you to talk about any issues that are important to you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate the TMA. Of course, the things right now is making sure that things can get very political real quick, on the spectrum between far right, far left, Republican, Democrat, whatnot. And I don't like to operate that way myself. I would like to see, what is our challenge, and can we find a solution to that challenge? Of course, a high priority of mine being in education is try to figure out how to address the tremendous disruption that our children are experiencing in our teacher and our school systems. Shelby County schools are still virtual. Some schools are hybrid. Some schools, you've got rural versus urban. And how do we make sure that we don't continue? We got to be careful with our teachers right now. I was in a classroom yesterday morning, and they are working hard. They've not only had to teach the children and all the challenges around the virus, but they're doing virtual, they're doing hybrid, they're doing in class, and I want to be careful that we we listen to them and address their issues. And I'd like to find more money for our teachers next year, as well as I mentioned just now, in the healthcare field. But that's kind of what would like to be my focus. I got to get past November 3rd, like some other people. But having been there 11 years, I now understand better how to collaborate and work with people to get things done and not get on a political position.
All right. Mark, thanks for all your candor today. Thanks for spending so much time with us, and good luck to you on the campaign trail.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.